Good morning. Thank you very much for joining our webinar this morning. We're going to be covering off some slides for about 20 minutes just to talk to you about Red Hat and what it means and takes to be a partner. So my name is Chris Watson. I'm the vendor manager here at CMS for Red Hat. Also on the call is Max Morton, who's going to be going through some of the slides with me today. So here's the agenda. We're going to talk about, firstly, who are Red Hat. Obviously, it's quite important to talk about what is Linux, which is the product that they are really known for. We'll talk then about open hybrid cloud, which is a term that Red Hat refer to quite frequently. Then we'll go on about the partner ecosystem, what it means to be a partner, how to drive success to being a partner, obviously how to become a partner if you're not already signed up, and some tools that are available to help you grow some pipeline and generate some business. So who are Red Hat? You've heard of RHEL. Most people out there have heard of RHEL, which stands for Red Hat Enterprise Linux. There's an extensive use of RHEL across the globe. On the side of the screen here are some of the logos of companies that are using Red Hat today. So, Red Hat's used by all the major banks. It's all the major stock exchanges around the world. Telco is another huge area, as demonstrated by that Virgin Media O2 logo. It's just so widely used, it's untrue. So, Linux is the only operating system that's actually growing. So Microsoft is pretty flat now. And has been for some time. But not only is Linux growing, Red Hat's market share is growing. So within the last 3 or 4 years, it's grown in the paid Linux space from 70% up to 80% market share. So customers are recognizing that Red Hat Enterprise Linux is the premium leading brand and are embracing it and getting it installed and being used within their networks and within their production systems on their networks. Every single one of the fastest 500 supercomputers in the world is run in Red Hat Enterprise Linux, and significant portion of cloud infrastructure. Now, a lot of those logos on the screen are all big enterprise customers and companies out there, that everyone's heard of before, tip of the tongue. But Red Hat is, and Linux in general, it's as at home within the mid-market space and even down in SMB as it is, for the biggest customers. So, Red Hat have got a team of people that are helping, in the SMB space. Their average sale is like £3,000 kind of thing. So even if you're only selling Red Hat into some small end users, it's certainly a technology that you can embrace. Now, I spoke a bit about RHEL and Red Hat Enterprise Linux, which is the product that Red Hat are known for. So have you heard of OpenShift? Has anyone out there heard of Ansible? These are two other technology areas, two more pillars to the Red Hat portfolio. So obviously, I've just mentioned that RHEL is the market leader. OpenShift is the market leading container orchestration platform that sits and overlays over Kubernetes. And Ansible automation platform is Red Hat's automation tool, and they get 2 million downloads a month of the community version of Ansible. So again, it's a market leading product. So if you choose to pick up and sell Red Hat, then you're going to be selling some cutting edge market leading technologies. So Max, do you want to just talk us through a little bit about what is Linux?
Yeah, thanks, Chris. So briefly, so Linux was created by a guy called Linus Torvalds in 1991 with the intention to be a freely available Unix-like operating system. So it was actually based on Minix, itself based on Unix. This was an open source operating system. So what does that mean, just for the benefit of anyone who's not entirely sure? The code that makes up Linux as an operating system, and for that matter, for any piece of software that is open source, is firstly freely available to access. It's also freely or it's free to develop upon, to then distribute that forked or developed version of whatever it is you started with, but also to redistribute the original version, so you can take it, do whatever you will, and spread it to others, right? So it proliferates. So that's fundamentally what open source is, and Linux is open source. Yeah, go next slide, please. So why RHEL? So to kind of follow on from the previous slide just quickly. So given that Linux is open source and, as mentioned, free to use, to develop, to distribute, to redistribute, many versions of Linux exist today. I think I might have read recently there's at least 300 distros out there, many of which you won't have heard of or never will hear of because they'll be small. But the point is that there are many options when it comes to Linux distros. It's fair to say that RHEL is the most adopted and, well, as a server operating system within enterprises that are paying for support, RHEL's the most adopted. And I think it's amongst many reasons you could come up with, probably given what businesses need, stability and security, I think rank first and foremost amongst those. So why is it stable? Why is it secure? It kind of goes a little bit back to what open source is, and as an extension of that, why open source is good. If you have a proprietary software or operating system, responsibility for and ability to maintain it, to develop it, sits solely with the team belonging to the company, which is the proprietor of that piece of software. On the other hand, with open source, everyone in the world can kind of function as the developers or the bug fixers. Everyone has that same level of access. It takes a company then like Red Hat to gather up and curate and contribute to all of that information and all of that experience that the community has, and use that as the source, if you like, for innovation. So things like bug fixes and patches and updates to improve or establish compatibility, whatever the case might be. There's an awful lot of eyes and brains looking at Linux, and that feeds back into making sure that it's the best that it can be. So as mentioned, it's a market leading product. I think it's 80% of paid Linux today is RHEL. That it's a community leading product, I think, feeds back into where it comes from and the CentOS project and Fedora. So open source projects which feed into RHEL. Why RHEL in terms of speed and its adoption? So I mentioned that it's the most widely adopted. Speed, I suppose that feeds back into, or that comes to an extent from Linux, which is known to be more performant, or the most performant operating system when it comes to server operating systems. And then finally, I think the support organization, Red Hat support organization, has won quite a few awards over the years. They've support staff all around the world with a great deal of experience, because of the nature of Red Hat having been adopted so widely by so many enterprises. Of course, they're incredibly experienced with regards to troubleshooting and developing the product based on the feedback and the experience of users, and so many of them. Yeah, so thanks. So open hybrid cloud, what does that really mean? This is, I think, the tagline for Red Hat broadly. It's quite straightforward, really. So you can run and manage your applications anywhere. That's essentially the the crux of it. So it's open insofar as, I suppose you can say, open source, and all of Red Hat's technologies come from or are based on open source projects to some extent. But also, I think in terms of interoperability, so Red Hat and RHEL and other Red Hat products within the portfolio are certified on thousands of bits of kit, bits of tin hardware, but also on thousands, or to work alongside or with thousands of bits of different software from other ISVs. So it's open in terms of being open source, but then also in that you can go and use RHEL, whatever your infrastructure may be, whatever your use case may be. It will work with almost anything that you can come up with out there in terms of hardware or software. Hybrid cloud as a concept is not brand new or anything, but it's the vision that Red Hat has for where we need to go. So you may know private cloud and public cloud, and perhaps even multi-cloud. So lots of organizations aren't putting all their eggs in one basket. Very good in terms of where they deploy their applications, what infrastructure they use. Hybrid cloud is probably fair to say a bit of a development from multi-cloud, insofar as you don't silo your infrastructure and use one cloud or one piece of infrastructure for one set of jobs or one department or one part of your business, whatever it may be. You want to architect an infrastructure which delivers a consistent experience for your workloads and for the people running them across multiple substrates, right? So it could be from one public cloud to the other that you've got you can run a workload on either of them and experience it in the same manner, but that should also be something that can change dynamically, and it's down to what we mentioned before about the interoperability that you get with Red Hat, but then also the tools themselves, in terms of, I suppose, Ansible and OpenShift, the fact that they deliver a consistent experience across different substrates and can be operated in the same manner across different substrates means you can achieve, an actual hybrid cloud. So yeah, I think that's probably enough said about that, but it's definitely key to understanding why Red Hat.
Brilliant, thank you, Max. So just moving on to the partner ecosystem. So we, as CMS, were appointed a distributor way back in 1997. So we were their first distributor in UK and Ireland. And as you can see, they've obviously got a long partner ecosystem history. They started off doing business direct. They realized that the way to scale was through distribution, and they signed us, long 25 years ago, is it something like that? Since the start of 2022, we've sold into 164 different resellers. So if you're on this call today, thank you very much for your business. And they've sold into 1,781 end user customers. So, quite extensive there. We obviously want to grow that. We obviously want to sell into more resellers, and we want to sell into more end user customers for sure, or help those resellers on the call to sell into more end user customers. So now there's an initiative out there which we'll go into in a separate webinar, which is going to be on the 20th of September. But the Red Hat are changing their support of a project that's been around for years, which is CentOS, which people out there understand and know as like the free version of Red Hat. It's not the free version of Red Hat at all. It's a totally separate operating system, but largely based on Red Hat Enterprise Linux. So that project is ending on the 30th of June 2024. So any customers using that operating system in production from that date onwards, they're not going to be able to get any more bug fixes, any more security patches, which is going to leave, a gaping chasm. So, there's a whole program around migration from CentOS to RHEL, and there's pricing promotions in place. There's a whole lot of collateral for you guys to use out there to help generate some awareness and opportunity. We're seeing a hell of a lot of opportunity on that at the minute. 30th of June seems like it's quite a long way away, but before you know it, it'll be the end of the year, and then it'll be less than 6 months. Now, some of these bigger projects take quite a long time to actually do the whole migration. So, the time really is soon to get behind that. So please look out for it and join that webinar on the 20th of June. 20th of June, 20th of September. Deals, we spoke about SMB all the way up to big enterprise. Deals on Red Hat range from, thousands all the way up into the millions, depending on the end user and their environment and how much they embrace RHEL. We're on the CentOS to RHEL piece. We've got some deals out there that are, in the hundreds of thousands that have been generated off the back of this CentOS announcement. We certainly want to help you guys to find, qualify, work, and close those deals. So have we captured your interest? I hope so. We obviously hope so here. Red Hat have a partner program like all vendors. We can send you the details. We'll distribute those details at the end. But you need to be a ready partner, so you need to be a signed up partner to be able to sell Red Hat or be able to process an order for a Red Hat. They have different partner tiers, so they start off with a ready partner that moves up through advanced up to premier partner levels. They also have different partner types, so we work in the solution provider area, but they also do service provider licensing and other programs for complementary vendors as well. So information that's available. There's sales plays, which are little presentations that you can view and watch. There's obviously a whole load of training in the portal that you guys can do. They obviously do deal registration. There's a bit of training that needs to be done before anyone can submit a deal registration to get guaranteed discounts and a bit of guaranteed margin for you guys for finding and bringing an opportunity to Red Hat. All sorts of promotions. There's a leading with campaign. The leader give 10 or 20% extra discount on either RHEL or Ansible or OpenShift. They have in-a-box marketing campaigns, tons and tons and tons of collateral. There are pages and pages and pages of case studies that we can, send you the links for, so you can, find those, send those out to your customers. At the back end, we've got a team of 5 here at CMS that are largely dedicated to Red Hat, not solely in some cases. But the team at Red Hat, I keep saying 30, it's probably in excess of 30 end user salespeople that are available to help you guys to position, qualify, work, and close those deals. So what to do now? If you're a partner that's never sold Red Hat before, then there's a link which we'll share to everyone that views this webinar that's joined today to sign up as a partner. If you're a new partner, you need to do that. If your partnership has lapsed, then there's the same link to click on to resurrect your partner status to become a ready partner. If you're a new partner, there's some very basic training required on the training portal, which Max and myself or Ian Hall, our pre-sales technical engineer, can help you with. There's obviously sales training, technical training available to whatever level you guys want to delve into and take that to. If you want to do on-site installations yourself, then there's a really deep, extensive training program available for people to get to that level. And what are the real opportunities? Well, there's 2 main ones right now. The first one I've already mentioned, which is this CentOS to RHEL piece. The second piece of business is the Ansible automation product. So we're going to be doing a webinar later in the year in Q4 around Ansible. The opportunity there is really people that are using the community version of Ansible to deliver a set task, but to really develop on that and to invest in the Ansible automation platform subscription means that you can open it up far wider and you can use those subscriptions for many different users. And this team here at CMS are obviously available and can and will assist you however you need. So how to contact us. So I'll leave this up on screen a little bit. The best email address, to be fair, is the redhat@cmsdistribution.com. That goes to Max, it goes to myself, it goes to Ibrahim, our product specialist, and one or two other people as well have got access to monitor that mailbox. You've got my own direct email address there and Max's direct email address. Or absolutely reach out to your account manager here at CMS and ask them just to be connected into the Red Hat team. And we'll happily get on a call and discuss your requirements and how we can help each other, how we can work together. So all that remains is to say thank you very much for your time. Thank you for joining. If you've got any questions, please do reach out to one of us. Enjoy the rest of your day and have a great day. Thank you very much.